D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my annual year in review where I go over some top stories, or at least stories that I found the most interesting of said year. Now, for this year, obviously, 2021 was, a bit crazy. It wasn't too bad as far as entertainment goes. I mean, we got a lot of really good stuff, I think, and with TV shows and movies, we had a lot of controversies, but I picked out some stories that I personally some I covered, some I didn't cover. But just basically the top stories that I really found interesting throughout this entire year. And we're just going to go over them real quickly and everything. I won't take up too much of your time, but I always like to do this just to recap on the year. So for the first story that I want to cover of 2021 is Scarlett Johansson sues Disney over Black Widow. In what might have been an even bigger story than the release of Black Widow, the first MCU film since before the pandemic, star Scarlett Johansson filed a lawsuit against Disney seeking money she believed she was owed on the film after it was released on Disney Plus Premier Access, in addition to theaters. Now, at the time, it was reported that Johansson had possibly lost out on as much as $50 million due to the move. Now, 2 months later, the lawsuit between the two was settled for a reported $40 million. And I'll leave links to all these stories if I cover them separately in the iCard section up above. Now, that's the first story that I wanted to cover this year. And I thought that was very interesting. And you can go check out that video that I did on that. So the second story I want to talk about this year is Gina Carano being removed from The Mandalorian. Now, when season 2 of The Mandalorian came to an end, it certainly looked as though Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune, was preparing for her own spin-off show, Rangers of the New Republic. Then in February, Lucasfilm announced that the former UFC fighter was no longer employed by the company and wouldn't be returning to the role. This all came on the heels of Carano comparing hating someone for their political views to persecution of the Jewish people during by the Nazi Party. Now, previously, she had been accused of being transphobic and made remarks about alleged and repeatedly proven to be false, all of those, voter fraud in the presidential election. All that was proven false and everything. Not surprisingly, it was later revealed that Rangers of the New Republic was no longer in development. And again, check out all the stuff in the iCard section. Sad about Gina Carano. I'm on her side 100%. If you follow me on social media or on this channel, you know that I'm definitely a supporter of hers. And whether or not you believe, you're on Gina Carano's side like I am, we got this great line from her in an interview she did with Ben Shapiro. I think that's how you say his name, Shapiro. She did this interview with him, and we got this great line.
Don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth. And you got billion-dollar companies raining down on me from every different place. And do I really even need to say anything? Like, you're showing it. You're showing what you do to people. You're showing you don't give them a voice. You're showing you're not going to listen. You're not going to see a person past, what you've read in a very skewed article. You're showing what bullies you are against one voice here. One. I'm that petrifying to these billion-dollar companies? Well, good. I hope I am. And I hope everybody else becomes that. I mean, this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of one voice. Imagine.
So, that's a good line. I do enjoy Gina Carano. Okay, so for my third story of the 2021 is Dave Chappelle's Netflix controversy. Netflix released The Closer, Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special this year, which earned the streamer and the comedian plenty of backlash due to Chappelle allegedly making transphobic remarks in the special. Many called the special to be removed, but Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos called the piece a self-expression. And I have to just say right now, if you think that there are transphobic remarks in that comedy special, you didn't watch that comedy special. I can tell you that right now. And you look dumb. You look so stupid when you say crap like that. You didn't watch it. I'll tell you that right now. You didn't watch it if you say that. I know for a fact you didn't watch it if you say that. So that is the third story of the year that I found very interesting, and I won't get it too much into it because you're probably already triggered at the moment. So for the fourth story of this year that I found interesting was tragedy struck the movie set of Rust. Now, in October, actor Alec Baldwin was involved in a tragic incident involving a prop gun on a New Mexico movie set that took the life of Helena Hutchins, a 42-year-old cinematographer, and wounded the film's director, Joel Souza. According to a police report, Baldwin was told by an assistant director he'd been handed a cold gun, which should have meant it was safe to use. However, a live bullet in the gun ended up killing Hutchins and wounding Souza. Speaking publicly about the horrible catastrophic event for the first time in October 30th, the Emmy-winning actor denied pulling the trigger. And I did cover that a little bit. Again, everything will be in the iCard section, and I will definitely leave links down below. He did that interview. I don't know why he did that interview. He could have just been sitting at home looking all innocent and shit. And then he did that interview, and I was like, oh, Jesus. Oh, man. It was like, whatever. All right. And so for my final story to cover of 2021 is WarnerMedia's box office HBO Max experiment called Project Popcorn. Many of the 2021 movies had been delayed from 2020 and included the sorts of smaller and mid-range titles that the studio had already was planning on moving away from after a number of misses in 2019. Project Popcorn ends at the close of 2021, and the initiative only applies to the U.S. Overseas Warner Brothers 2021 releases have opened exclusively in cinemas overseas. The studio's final two high-profile releases of this year are King Richard, starring Will Smith, and The Matrix Resurrections. But there was a major upside. According to Sarnoff and WarnerMedia chief Jason Kilar, not for long, all of the studio's 2021 theatrical releases are being offered simultaneously on HBO Max in the US, dubbed Project Popcorn. The controversial pandemic-era initiative, engineered by Kilar, was designed to pump up WarnerMedia's new streaming service and allow Emmerich's team to keep the pipeline flowing. Now, I just have to say they did this Project Popcorn, which was day and date release for all of their movies. And they did this because, you know, they thought that they weren't going to get these movies released and they were losing money and everything. And I have to just say right now, if you look at these graphs, their subscribers didn't really get boosted a whole bunch. I mean, they under 70 million in 2021. It just, you know, and then the box office wise, globally, these movies didn't do overwhelmingly great. I mean, the biggest one on this one is Godzilla versus Kong. And, you know, I just think that maybe I was appreciative of this just because then I didn't have to go to the movie theaters and I just paid my subscription for HBO Max, which I still have. They put out that Snyder cut and I'll keep it until I have it until March, I believe. Yeah, March. So that's good for me, I guess. And some of these movies were just plain out misses. So I'm glad I didn't have to go to the movie theater and pay money for this. But I think this was probably a misstep for them, but a good experiment to see where things were going. So those are my top stories of 2021 year, you know, in reflection of this year. Like I said before, 2021 wasn't too bad as far as entertainment goes. You know, there was things I enjoyed, things I didn't enjoy. But, you know, overall, you know, it's just a new year to check it out. I hope you guys had a great 2021. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next year on my year in review. You guys have a good year. Bye.